Okay, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. It's Friday, y'all. Hell to the yeah, man. I'm glad. We've got the skid job tomorrow. Uh, and it's the same thing as every 2 weeks. This is the day that I pick Cam up on the way to Gay, Georgia to do that big one, and then we'll be all around here. Got quite a few to do. Well, like 11, something like that. Really don't have a whole lot to talk about, so I was gonna comment on some of the comments that I got on yesterday's video. Talking about the contracts with the homeowners. So Rusty Shackelford over there was saying you figure 30 cuts a year, and if they fire you after 25, then you bill them for the other 5. Well, like I said in the comment, man, when customers fire you, they tend not to pay, especially if you have not done the work. And in their eyes, you will have not done the work. If they fire you, let me back up. So I don't do the yearly stuff with homeowners. Now, I don't want to say I don't, but I don't. Not. It's got to be an extenuating circumstance, and it's certainly going to be a customer I have a long-term relationship with. I don't do yearly contracts with residential stuff. Now I do with some of the commercial and well, with all the commercial stuff I do. But the concept that, okay, you want money 12 months out of the year, so a lot of guys, and there's nothing wrong with this, I'm not, a lot of guys, they say, okay, we'll cut it a little bit cheaper in the summer if you'll do a 12-month, average it out over 12 months. That's all fine and good until they don't pay in the off months. They move, die, their kids see the deal you got with them, and they're like, oh no, we ain't doing that. And a lot of things can happen because a lot of times we are working for elderly or older people, and I'm just not a big I'm not a big believer in doing that, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I've done it. I've done, and the reason, there's always a reason why I do things like I do things, and not that I'm right or anything. But I had a customer, and it would have been, and the numbers might not be exactly right, but the point is, it will be made. We'll say I had a customer, and I was charging him $400 a month. We'll just say that, and they decided, okay, we'll give you $300 a month, 12 months out of the year. And that was the deal. It worked out great for about 3 years. And this is just one time. It's happened quite a few times. I think I got a video over this particular customer when they did it. So if you do it and you average it out, I know it's a little early this morning. If you do it and you average it out like that, well, you're basically letting them hold your money. And there again, I don't like other people holding my money. Well, no, they ain't holding it, Ray. They're going to give it back to you in September, October, November, and December. Well, maybe, yeah. Sometime, most of man, maybe 60-40 for me, maybe 80%, because it might be higher than that, but I'm talking about for me. I don't want to lose near dollar. I don't want to work all summer at somebody's house for the cheap, And then turn around in September when things start getting easy, they start acting stupid. And it happens, I'm telling you, it happens to me a lot, especially with the financial times. Oh, and not to mention if they move, die, brother-in-law starts cutting it or anything like that. Well, then, you know, dude was saying, well, you just bill them for the remainder. But they're not going to pay if they fire you, and you don't, and they don't. They're going to feel like they don't owe you nothing because, well, you know, you didn't come in September, October, November, December like you were in the summer. You haven't done the work. That's what that is the consensus here. I never have liked the fact of somebody else holding my money, because I feel like I'm better with my money than they are. That's just my thinking. And that's what you're doing when you do it for cheap summer, and in the summer, just to have a check coming in the winter. I don't want to do that just to have a check coming in the winter, because I'm taking short all summer. So I'm not really getting any extra money. It's not like we're getting extra stuff here or nothing. We're not getting extra money because we take short in the summertime just to extend it out. What we're doing is we're making ourselves not have to be disciplined with our money. That's what we're doing. We're basically letting them hold the money. And I don't like to let the customers hold the money when I'm out here sweating every day, you know. And then I'm hoping and I'm praying that, you know, the customer lives, don't get real sick, don't have a stroke, don't sell their house, don't move, and all the things that happen that are really happen. I can name at least 5 right off the top of my head that I did that with, and I've lost thousands of dollars like that. I'm not saying, and most of the time it works out. It did. But I don't like taking short in the summer. I just don't. I want to take that money I make in the summer and I want to reinvest it into whatever I want to do. I don't want to let them hold that money. You know, I'd rather hold it in my bank account. And then when the winter time comes and you know, I don't have a check coming from them, then okay, I've got options. I can go do something else, instead of still lingering into the yard maintenance, lawn maintenance stuff. I don't want to linger. I'm the type of guy, and I'm not saying I'm right, I don't want to linger around in the lawn maintenance if I'm not wide open, because there ain't no money in it. If you're not wide open in the lawn maintenance, there ain't no money in it. Not compared to what it costs, and not compared to what else I can do. Now, I don't know about everybody else, and there was a time when I couldn't do other stuff, but I've always been able to do, you know, or been willing to do other stuff besides just mow grass. So I know that there are going to be people that they live and die by that concept: work cheap in the summer to get a check all winter. And for the most part, it probably works out okay for them. But when it don't, boy, it hurts. It hurts. And that's the thing about me. I don't want to take no hit, not never, ever. I don't give a damn. I don't want to take no hit. And I want to be in charge of my money. And I don't want to let nobody hold my money, hold my time, hold my money, blah, blah. I don't want to let nobody do that. So, and the reasons are, like I said, I've gotten beat. I probably lost $10,000 like that. Yeah. And what you got to understand is, when you talk about getting a homeowner to sign a contract, well, it's not really enforceable if you look at it from a we're talking about a contract for lawn maintenance. It's not really enforceable. I'm not taking nobody to court over $70 or whatever. You know, it's just not hardly feasible. Now, some people don't mind spending their time like that, but you're going to lose the customer no matter what. If once the customer decides that they're not going to have you cut their property no more, it doesn't matter what you do from that point. It doesn't matter. because they'll fire you. Well, if they like right now, I got the customers that are saying, hey, don't come. We need to skip it. And then like yesterday, I usually tell them, like I told him yesterday, and most of the time that will work out. Well, Ray, you need to fire those customers. Well, you might be, but I don't want to fire them until I have a replacement, because 99% of the time, all summer, it's super lucrative because I'm on that street anyway, or I'm in that neighborhood anyway, or I'm at the neighbor's house anyway. So, but if they tell me not to come, and I say I got a ironclad contract with them, and they say I don't skip me this time, Ray, then you try to charge them for that, well, you're going to lose a customer. And in my experience out here, I've done that, and I've lost a customer. Or it creates such a terrible mojo atmosphere between you and the customer that you either don't want to work for them no more, or they don't want you to work for them no more, because they don't want to pay when they feel like you're not coming. Even if they did sign a contract in April or March saying, yeah, we'll do that, of course they'll say, yeah, we'll do that. Of course, everybody's going to do that. I just choose not to, because I've gotten burnt so many times, and it ain't like $100 or nothing. It's thousands. So now with the commercial stuff, it's a lot different. The commercial people, well, they're making money, and when people are making money, they tend to spend money. A homeowner's not making money. A homeowner's not worried about tomorrow, like a commercial customer is. I did all the commercial, not all of them, but I did a lot of commercial accounts yesterday, and they all were dry and everything. But that's just my take on that, not that I'm right or wrong. And I understand the concept and the philosophy, and I do that with all the customers, with all the commercial people. Yeah, I can't think of any that we don't go, 12 months out of the year. Now, sometimes it's not mowing, but I don't have any residentials I do like that. None. Because the residentials are too unpredictable and not established enough. And in today's time, they'll drop you quick, man. And you're never going to build a good relationship with them when you're forcing them to pay you when you're not coming. Ray, they signed a contract. Yeah, but still, it doesn't create good mojo in their head. I'm a homeowner, and if a lawn contractor came to me to do my property, and he said, "Hey, I'll do it cheap in the summer if you'll give me a check all 12 months." Well, I'm biased, but I'm not going to want to do that as the homeowner. I'm not going to want to do that, because I know me. Come September, October, November, December, when they're not coming when they're not coming at all, or coming, whenever they feel like it, I'm not going to want to pay them. So we're going to avoid all that to begin with, and I'm going to say, no, I'm going to pay you for the work that you do during the summer, and then we'll play it by ear in the winter. That's what I mean. You gotta look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. What would you do? And one guy was saying, well, it's easier for them to come up with, 180 a month than 250 or whatever. Yeah, but the 250 is only for the summer. They got to come up with 180 12 months out of the year. And when things get tight, that's the first thing they drop. Christmas time rolls around, they ain't wanting to pay the lawn guy. They want to buy their kids some nicer birthday present or Christmas presents. I mean, that's just been my personal experience with that. And there's nothing wrong with guys that do it like that. I'm not, I'm an intense guy, but it doesn't, I just don't do that. Not with residential. And now everybody knows why. And, you know, if you got a question about that, you just ask me. I'll be glad to answer any of the specific details, you know, that you do. So, you know, one guy was asking me, you know, what happened to his comment? I don't know, man. I haven't deleted any comments or nothing. I have no idea. I'd appreciate it if you would do it again. But I guess the thing is, I want to be in more control of that. I don't want to be, just think about it like this. And, you know, I would say most of the time it'll work out for you, right? Most of the time. But the time that it doesn't, or 2 or 3, when you've been doing it as long as I have, those experiences of customers acting stupid in the fall, even though you got a contract with them, they're really loud in my head. Even though it's only happened to me, well, I quit doing it, you know, years and years ago. It's only happened to me probably 5 or 6 times, but it's a hit, man. It's not, and I refuse to do business going into a contract with somebody doing business, and there's a potential I might get hit in the head. I mean, and it's a informed decision. Now, some customers I wouldn't worry about, but those are the customers don't ask for that. You know, so. But everybody does things different, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't do that anymore, for, you know, for what I do out here. And I haven't done that in over 10 years. And I do okay. But, you know, if all you're doing is mowing, then you might be more inclined to do that. But I do a lot more than mowing, and it's designed like that. I built it like that because I don't want to mow grass and do a bunch of stuff in the wintertime on homeowners' lawns. I don't really want to. Anyway, y'all, I gotta find a stupid address. So we got a lot to cut today, and that's what we're gonna do, man. I kick it, y'all.